because this topic I have been wanting to speak about for such a long time. It's the Isak and Newcastle situation. And the reason why I wanted to speak about this for such a long time is because I think right now you have media who are full of pundits and full of, other people who have their opinions and their say. And a lot of the time it's from a fan's perspective, right? And then you have the fans who are obviously Newcastle fans. You also have fans who are quote unquote fans of football. And then you just have them stupid ass trolls on social media absolutely talking a whole load of BS, like a whole load of BS. And this is something for me that if I'm a player and I'm looking at this situation, do you know how much players have gone through this? This is given, and this is reminding me of Harry Kane at Tottenham with Daniel Levy. This is reminding me of, people who want you to just shut your mouth and shut up. And like I said, both parties have put out a statement. Players need to really pay attention to certain things that happen in football. And too many times it's hard to do that when fans are having their say, media platforms and media personalities are having their say. But what about the player perspective and what actually goes from the player's angle? And I'm going to start off with Isak's statement, because Isak's statement for me is painting this picture a bit clearer, if you ask me. Now, I ain't here to choose sides, but what I am here to do is make sure that you guys are being able to take the right information so you guys can go in your careers and learn something for yourself. Isak's obviously put on his story. He was a part of the Team of the Year on the PFA Awards. And he's put on his story, "I'm proud to be recognised by my fellow professionals with a place in the PFA Premier League team of the season for 24-25. First and foremost, I want to thank my teammates and everyone at Newcastle who has supported me along the way. I'm not at the ceremony tonight. With everything going on, it didn't feel right to be there. I've kept quiet for a long time while others have spoken. That silence has allowed people to push their own version of events, even though they know it doesn't reflect what was really said and agreed behind closed doors. The reality is that promises were made and the club has known my position for a long time. To now act as if these issues are only emerging is misleading. When promises are broken, trust is lost. The relationship can't continue. That's where things are for me right now and why change is in the best interest of everyone, not just myself." Now that's Alexander Isak's statement. I then want to read Newcastle's statement because I think this is absolutely hilarious. And I think for me, the one thing that fans and the one thing that some media platforms may not understand, or media personalities may not think of also when they're doing their job. And also, by the way, they're just doing their job. And I want this to be a thing where I'm not slating fans. Listen, you are allowed to have your emotions. You are allowed to feel how you feel. I'm just saying, as players, as aspiring footballers, you have to have the mindset, the eyes, and the perspective of a player. Because again, this may be you one day, and you might be in these types of situations one day. So Newcastle's statement goes a little something like this. "We are disappointed to have been alerted to a social media post by Alexander Isak this evening. We are clear in response that Alex remains under contract and that no commitment has ever been made by a club official that Alex can leave Newcastle United this summer. We want to keep our best players, but we also understand players have their own wishes and we listen to their views. As explained to Alex and his representatives, we must always take into consideration the best interests of Newcastle United, the team and our supporters in all decisions. And we have been clear that the conditions of a sale this summer have not transpired. We do not foresee those conditions being met. This is a proud football club with proud traditions, and we strive to retain our family feel. Alex remains part of our family and will be welcomed back when he is ready to rejoin his teammates." When I'm looking at that, I'm sorry, the words that's being used, the way that statement has been put into play, I don't hear it. I'm sorry, I don't hear it. And this is why it's important to understand player power and why player power matters. Now, listen, do I think Isak's behavior is right? No, I don't. I think he should be a professional. I think he should go into training. And I think he's there to do a job. But the one thing that I'm seeing in this whole situation, and when you really unpack it, when you really look at it, right, clearly Newcastle want a certain number for Isak, right? They want a certain fee. Whatever that fee is up to Newcastle. But clearly, something was agreed. You can't say it's not. A player ain't going to sit here, and a player isn't going to get emotional, and a player isn't going to have outbursts and act like that if something was not put in play. Now, whether it's a Newcastle club official or if it's someone else who's a part of Newcastle, whatever it is, something has been promised to this guy. And we got to remember, we are not behind closed doors, right? We are not. So we do not know what's going on. But from my perspective, what I'm seeing is this as well. Newcastle have messed up by selling Callum Wilson. Their striker options are very limited. They're probably potentially could be looking at that and going, oh, we need a replacement for Isak. Cool, get it. And they're looking at Johan Wissa, which he's now at Brentford doing a similar thing that Isak's doing. And everybody in the media and everybody's looking at these players and they're saying their behaviour's this and they shouldn't be doing that. And listen, I agree for some part. But this is the part where I don't agree. Because it's crazy when clubs want to turn round and clubs want to be able to have their own say on players. Look at Manchester United, how they treated Garnacho, how they said to a certain amount of players, Marcus Rashford, etc., you are not a part of our plan, this, that, no matter what, push towards the side. Allowing Sancho to go, but he get dressed in a changing room somewhere. Where's the professionalism from the club there? Do you see it? No. When it comes to, again, like I said, Harry Kane and Tottenham, Daniel Levy was acting a certain way, and when he wants what he wants, he will get what he wants. Look, when it comes to Heung-min Son, sorry, you're no longer needed. So listen, when you're a player, and the reason why player power matters, right, is we are not just an employee of your club. We are somewhat an asset to your club. So if we're an asset to your club, listen, sales come through me. Fans sit on seats because of me. My career is just as important to this club as the club is to me. Now, there is no player that's bigger than the club because, as again, it's a team sport. However, let's keep the same energy. Let's make sure that all players are being treated the same. Let's make sure that all players and club are being treated fairly. This is your career. This is your life, right? You have to manage your career in the best way possible. And if you're seeing that certain things are not adding up and certain things are not right, listen to the words Isak is using. He's talking about trust. He's talking about when that's broken, how can you have a relationship anymore? Now, people are looking at that thinking, oh, brother, you earn X amount a week. I think it's £120,000 a week. Brother, if you was at your job or wherever you was, would you allow your boss or the company to treat you a certain way? No, you wouldn't. So let's forget about the money situation. Let's talk about just humans. Let's just talk about people. Let's just talk about a human standard between club and player. Because if you ask me, I think this is both their faults. But I think it's really important in this day and age that players really start understanding what player power is. When we look at this whole situation, it then opens up a bigger conversation. And it's the question and it's the conversation of, should players be signing long-term contracts? When you look at these long-term contracts, I say it over and over and over again, you are locking yourself in to a position where somewhat these clubs can have their hand on you. Yeah, they got you by the short and curlies. Like, they have you in somewhat of a position. Now, when you look at Isak's situation, my brother signed 6 years. Yeah, 6 years. If I'm a player and I'm looking at progressing my career, if I'm a player and I'm looking at Newcastle ain't going to be my be all and end all, I'm looking to progress. At whatever age he was when he signed, I think he was 22 when he signed. You do, in my eyes, in my opinion, and what I've seen, you do not sign 6 years. You do not. That you sign a 2 to 3 year deal maximum, because when you start going beyond all of those things, this is what happens. What we're seeing right now is what happens. Now, Newcastle is saying, well, listen, we still got almost 3 to 4 years on your contract left, or 3 and a bit years on your contract left. They can do whatever they like, really. And this is why choosing your team wisely on who's your agent matters. Do you know how much times I've seen agents lock players into these long-term deals? Now, let me give you some game. For me personally, you only sign a long-term deal when you are at the club that you wish to stay for at a long period of time, or you are a big player, a big fish in a big pond, where at that time that you don't really see yourself going anywhere else, and you need that somewhat guarantee that you're going to have those years behind you. In Isak's situation, as a potential player to have become one of the best Premier League strikers, which he's now becoming, he's not solidified it as, up there with the best yet, because I feel like he needs to do it for a longer period of time. But for what he's done, he's definitely just below it. But like when you're now where he is now, yeah, if and he gets his move to Liverpool, that's where I sign the 6-year deal. That's when I signed for Liverpool, that's the 6-year deal I signed. Because now you're a big fish in a big pond. You're able to now perform at the levels you need to. And guess what? You have that long-term contract because you ain't looking to really go anywhere else past that. You're not. Where do you go past Liverpool? Real Madrid, Barcelona, someone like that. So when I'm a young player and I'm looking at these contracts, I'm like, yo, my career needs to have longevity. I need to look at the long term of my career. And it's crazy that a lot of people would look at that as business is business when it revolves around the club. But listen, I'm here to tell you as a player, business is business when it revolves around you too. And a player is a business. Yeah, a player is an asset. A player is all of these things. So with this situation going on, do I think Isak's wrong for not being professional about it? Yes, I do. Should he still train? Yes. But also the club needs to be professional too and handle that situation correctly. As I said, these clubs promise you the world. These clubs will give you the contract. Like I said, when they're ready to let you go and tell you, I don't want you, I've had enough, rip out the paper, they will do so. If you're still here, that means you want to take your football career seriously. And every aspiring player needs to build a plan, a blueprint. And that is why we created our Footballer's Guide for players just like you. Head to the link in the description, buy our ebook, and start taking control of your blueprint today. Oh, and one more thing. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Love.